And we are live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock. It is Monday, May 27th. I am Josh Engleman. I am joined by Eric Lindquist, and we are brought to you by Underdog. Boston Celtics, Indiana Pacers, Game 4 better be the last game of the Eastern Conference Finals, because I don't think we're really looking for a Game 5 at this point. No Tyrese Halliburton in this one. Hopefully, Indy with no chance. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow us both on Twitter. What's good, man?
It's good to have you back. If we were ever going to smash a like button for an individual, smash it for Josh Engleman. We're so happy to see him. I know it's been a long week for the man. If you guys caught the strategy show at some portion, I'm sure he kept you guys apprised of everything. But we love him. We care about him. We're just happy to see your face.
Thank you, man. It's honestly, it's good to be back. It's good to get back in the swing of things. I love doing this shit, and it feels weird when you don't do it for a couple days, and I haven't done it since Live Before Lock last Sunday. So it's been 8 days since I did shows. So it's good to be back. Chat, thank you. Chris Williams with the big super chat. Condolences. Sending prayers to me and my family. He lost his dad in 2013 and mom in 2015. So sending prayers. That one feels pretty familiar, only reverse it. Mom 2 years ago, dad now.
Yeah. Well, no matter what, I mean, you just continually become a better person on these shows. You act out less and less. It seems like you're becoming a better person. So obviously your parents instilled some goodness somewhere in you that's starting to come out. Obviously we're just thinking about you, buddy. And again, so good to have you back, but most importantly, just hope you're doing well.
I am good. I am ready to talk some basketball. We have 27 minutes to go. So let us just simply dive in and figure out what exactly we like here for this slate.
Shepard's starting again. We just got
okay, good. That's helpful. I didn't really care to deal with that. 25% ownership to Jason Tatum at the captain spot. Around 15 for McConnell and Pascal Siakam. Around 10 for Andrew Nembhard. Jaylen Brown drew in and around that area as well. Who is your preferred captain for today?
I keep going back and forth. I have two guys that I'm just going to roster a ton. One's Jason Tatum. That's not very exciting to talk about. The other one I think is kind of fascinating. What are you thinking about Pascal Siakam today? Because it feels as though last time out, we're getting like the box score chasers. We're getting everybody coming up in arms. I know that this has ended up being a popular prop as you look online and seeing everywhere. Pascal Siakam points. Everybody's on 22.5, 23.5 points for Pascal Siakam. But I'm just interested in him having I'm the best player on my side of the team part of the floor. Like Pascal Siakam has to have one of those games, I would think, in this series. Obviously, he had the could have been foul in the corner of that game one, but from a fantasy perspective, I know that he's pulling 15.2% ownership, but TJ McConnell, I think we're running into like playing Tatum and Siakam and Brown and like the same kind of lineup constructions now. I jammed TJ McConnell and captain last time around. I think just going heavy on Pascal Siakam is where I'm leaning towards on this one. I've got him in 25% of my captain lineups here, so I'm playing 21 lineups as it stands right now. But anything interesting standing out to you from the captain spot?
Not Pascal Siakam.
That's great to know.
So that was one of my bigger fades that I had earlier today. The guy that I'm getting to the most at captain, same as I had it on the strategy show, I'm getting to a ton of Miles Turner. 6% owned. It seems to be the stand. I think he's going to play 36 plus minutes if he can. We'll see what that looks like for Indy. It seems like that's my path to getting different. I'm actually eating a little bit more of Jason Tatum at the captain than I was earlier today. I'm basically neutral to the field there. Siakam is the guy, and if it helps me because I took an under on Siakam in my prize picks video today. So that helps because I would really like to cheer against him. I get the appeal. I mean, it's his team. Like he's going to have to be the offensive force if Indiana wants to extend this series. So I get the path. Little nervous of the ownership at that particular price tag.
I get it. For me, it's more of I'm 99% sure we see. I mean, the TJ McConnell ownership in the captain was like an auto smash, what we had on the last slate, and it still kind of got there. To this time around, I feel that artificial 20% TJ McConnell coming down the pipeline. And Tatum, it's not like anybody's going to be neglecting Tatum there. I don't know. It just feels like if I got to the flip and saw 12%, it's the same thing I talked about with Cat yesterday on the show, but we ended up getting like 6-7% Cat, depending on what tournaments you were looking at in the captain. I was pretty happy with that. Had him projected a little bit north of that. It feels like we're going to get that public money bump to TJ McConnell here. Maybe I'm wrong. If I am, it is what it is, but I'm full fading TJ McConnell after playing 100% of him in the captain last time around and profiting on that slate. So kind of going the exact opposite end of the spectrum with this one. Andrew Nembhard, I really have no interest in the captain either at 6,200. So the cheap captain's not going to be for me today. Concentrating more towards Tatum, Siakam. I will take a look here at some of these Miles Turner lineups here too. I'm trying to see where my first Miles Turner is in the Sims in terms of my rankings for it. It's a little bit further down the board, but I do like the appeal where, we know that Turner isn't exactly going to pull any artificial ownership anytime soon in the captain.
No, probably not.
No.
Probably not. All right, well, let's keep this moving then. Who are some of the low-owned dudes that you would want to get to? Because we have a weird situation with Indy not having Tyrese Halliburton here. Boston is like the most set in stone team that you could want. Is there a down the line Boston guy that you like? A Derek White, like a Peyton Pritchard for salary savings? Do you want to go to like a Ben Shepherd and hope it's that weird and load up on every high dollar dude on the utility side? What do you see if you're trying to be ultra different here?
Yeah, I'm loading up on Ben Shepherd. It sucks.
Ooh,
it's horrible. I full faded last slate. I'm basically doing everything the exact opposite of what I did last time around, which I find to be interesting and fun. But Ben Shepherd, Andrew Nembhard, can we just say 21 shot attempts, the usage out of control, played really well, no doubt about it. But I don't expect that this time around. And Ben Shepherd was basically a flat zero out there. 26 minutes, 0 for 4 from the field, 0 for 3 from 3. I love getting to him in like not a bounce back spot. I expect that they're going to lose this basketball game. And I'm not saying he's going to smash, but he is cheap and he's pulling no ownership and he is starting. I don't see a lot of reasons that I shouldn't be playing 25 minutes of Ben Shepherd at 3K relative to Obi Toppin, who always pulls a little bit more ownership than we think. Peyton Pritchard, I think he's just a better play where, he's going to see 5, 6, 7 more minutes barring blowout than Peyton Pritchard is. So I'm loading up on 12% ownership Ben Shepherd. I've got him in over half of my lineups right now. If I'm going up for Tatum and Siakam, he's kind of my path to getting different with those captain lineups.
I have a lot more of him just over the field at the flex. I didn't get to him at all in the captain spot. But I
zero
do get
captain. Oh, I didn't know we were talking specifically still just captain.
Oh, okay. Then that makes me feel a little bit better because I was pretty
bad.
surprised that you were just firing Ben Shepherd.
Oh God, no. That was just me mishearing and clicking on stuff and sorting. So I was trying to find myself some Miles Turner in the captain after you were talking about it there.
Gotcha.
I don't really have a ton of I'm pretty flat at the captain. It's nearly a quarter. Jason Tatum in my top 150, nearly a quarter Pascal Siakam in my top 150. And then it's just a little bit of Brown, a little bit of Holiday, getting to some Turner here now, Al Horford a little bit. I don't love the construction of going to some of these cheapies. You're kind of building towards 5-1. I think we all kind of know which team you probably want 5 of in that regard.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm just trying to find my first cheap captain. I have one Peyton Pritchard that's in the top 150 at captain, but I don't like it. He's not going to make my top 20. Yeah, I'm probably not going to be playing any cheap captain under 6,400 Al Horford.
Yeah, I'm just very flat outside of Turner. It's 12% Tatum, 12% Brown, 12% White, 10% Holiday, right around 10% of Al Horford. It's just basically swap out whatever Boston dude you want, put them in the captain spot, and hope that whichever one of those 5 starters that's the Boston guy for today. Because they're going to have one of those 5 dudes, probably 2, are going to smash today. That's just how this operates. Getting one of those 2 guys right would be helpful. Certainly helps when it's a Derek White at 5% ownership and Al Horford, who made, I think, 7 threes last time out.
Sure did.
He's 3% owned in the captain spot. Anything else you want to touch on at captain?
No, I think, captain, it's not all that interesting to me. I think you can make a case for a lot of those pieces. I'm making a calculated decision on the TJ McConnell, Andrew Nemhard thing. I'm going to play them a lot in the flex. I'm not going to have any. If it ends up being TJ McConnell 40 spot that you need in the captain, Andrew Nemhard 40 spots, such is life. I'm not going to be there. I think we're going to get a little bit of that. I hate just saying artificial ownership as if I know better than ownership projections. It's not that. It's just that it's very hard to account for what the public's going to do there. I think Jason Tatum, had a bounce back game in game three there. It's Jason Tatum. I have no problem, however much you want to get to him there. I'm very curious where that Pascal Siakam ownership comes in at because, for all intents and purposes, that should be the guy who leads this team in usage tonight, who should be assertive, who should be putting his foot down, trying to salvage it. He's got the highest fantasy points at pick 6. He's got the highest points projection of anybody on his team. I think Pascal Siakam for me is just somebody that I'm willing to play a little bit more of, but nothing crazy. Obviously, I'm not jamming anybody there in the captain this time around.
Well, this isn't exactly the best. I mean, we have the options for an exotic play of the day, but this one, it's we kind of know what we're getting at this point, so we're going to kick that down the road a little bit. What we should be doing though, guys, is signing up for a free NFL best ball package at Stokastic. We have player projections and rankings across Underdogs, DraftKings, and Drafters. All you have to do to get access is make a free account at Stokastic. Matt Kajeski is the brains behind those best ball projections. That man lives and breathes the NFL. I would be very confident in using his baseline to get you to best ball drafts. Couldn't be set up better for it. And you get it all for zero cost. We just want you to register with us, but not a fee involved at all. How much NFL best ball do you expect to be doing?
I already started doing it. They had the Pom.
There you go.
The Pomeranian. So I ended up jamming it, posted about it a little bit there last week when they posted that tournament. Didn't get to end up getting the full 50 in with work and other things, but got like 25, 30 drafts in there. I did about half of the $3 on DK, did a couple of those $20 tickets that I have for the $1.5 million over on DK. It's fully underway, and I love his rankings. There's a lot of utility for free right now that you can get over at Stokastic. And, I had it sitting next to my computer the entire time. If you're not taking advantage of it, you're kind of doing it wrong because that guy is out in a cabin in Wisconsin, just watching tape, grinding tape for you. So take advantage of that for sure.
All right, let's talk a little bit more about potential flex / utility plays. This is where I think it actually gets really difficult because I don't really find any problems with ownership at utility spots. It's just kind of like, yeah, these guys are going to play 30 to 40 minutes and they should be like 30 to 40% owned. 40 for Turner, 50 for McConnell, 50 for Nemhard, 45 Siakam, 30 for Neesmith, close to 30 for Toppin, 30 to 40 across all those Boston dudes except for Tatum, who gets a lot more love. It's really just like, who do you like personally in these spots? Because I am right around the field on most of them. I will say this. I do have a value stand that isn't getting a lot of ownership right now. And it's not that I like it because he hasn't been good. I have way more Sam Hauser than I ever expected.
That's my guy. Yeah, Sam Hauser is the other one for me. I have a little bit of Luke Cornett. Nothing that's going to make or break my evening. I'm pretty close. I'm jamming TJ McConnell in utility. I mean, he's projected for a bajillion fantasy points relative to what his price is. I get why he's such a popular captain option. I'm just hoping that this ends up being a nice little 35 spot for the man. Andrew Nemhard, same thing. I've got quite a bit of him, pretty in line there, 50%. But I like the Sam Hauser piece too. I think that's the most interesting part of talking about this slate. Like Derek White, Drew Holiday, we only saw 3 potential assists for him in game 3, which was behind Al Horford even. 4 guys or 5 guys in 4 for the Celtics that were ahead of him in terms of potential assists. I could make a case for trying to trim some of that ownership, but now he's cheap enough where I don't really have any problem getting to him as well. It's a 7K Drew Holiday pulling 41% ownership. So, I'm right there at like 36%. I don't have a problem with anybody in this like mid-range. I think it's just kind of sprinkling a lot of those guys. But when we start talking about Toppin, I haven't gotten Toppin right one time throughout these entire playoffs because there's like a hard ceiling to the minutes. It's just like you're never seeing him beyond the 22, it feels like. And that becomes so difficult for me to want to play him at crazy ownership. Now he's 25.9%. This is lower than he's been projected in a number of these spots, but I'm making a stand against him ever so slightly. I still have him at 12%. I probably will get a little bit here as I finish things off. But Ben Shepherd's the one piece out of anything that I'm just playing way, way, way more of than the field. And I'm kind of okay with it. Again, if he wasn't starting, if he didn't play 25, 26 minutes, regardless of the fact that he was super ineffective there, it wouldn't be something I'd be trying to do today. But at 3K starting, 25 minutes of him, 12% ownership, I'm more than happy for that to be like my one stand on ownership today.
In his last 12 games, Obi Toppin has played between 18 and a half and 24 and a half minutes in 11 of those 12. One game he played 15. If you want to throw the 24 and a half out, it's 18 and a half to 23. It's just
how dumb is that?
Set in stone.
Yep.
You just know what you're getting there.
You know exactly what you're getting, but then, it's obviously price and it's relative to other options. What was tilting was in that Knicks series where there would be just Knicks that looked way better in, 2-game slate fashion, and Obi Toppin would continually smash against them. That was an unfun experience in life, but you got to go through that, I suppose. Otherwise, I don't really have a major problem with anything. I'm trimming a little bit of Toppin, trimming a little bit of Drew Holiday. Talked about that, but like ever so slightly. Yeah. Otherwise, I am right around the field on pretty much everybody in utility outside of Sam. I combined the two of them. Sam Hauser. I have a little bit more of. I'm double the field there, and I have almost no Peyton Pritchard, which sucks. But I should. I have 0% Peyton Pritchard. That's wild. Just noticed that.
0 Peyton Pritchard. I have 14%. But everybody else, it's just, I don't have Isaiah Jackson. He's pulling 10% ownership. I guess that's probably a bit of a talking point. He's in at the flat 2K right now. Probably plays 10 minutes. Doesn't have to play at all. They could just go to Obi Toppin. Like, he doesn't have to. The more minutes Miles Turner plays, the less interesting Isaiah Jackson is, obviously. Wouldn't mind having a little bit, but just doesn't happen to be the guy that I'm getting to. I just don't see anybody that I want to just tell everybody this is the flex play today. I don't think it exists. I think it's way more interesting to talk about the intricacies of captain than it is at flex. It's just grab 4 of these dudes that are all 30% owned. Whichever ones you like are the ones you should be playing. Yeah,
it's going to be, I don't know. How many minutes do you think Luke Cornett gets in a neutral game script? Like something where it plays to the 6, 7, 8. How many minutes are you putting 10? Luke Cornett in for? 10.
10? Yeah.
And the range of outcomes for him, Hauser, 10, 14 I have for Sam Hauser. It's pretty wide. We haven't seen massive Al Horford foul trouble to my knowledge. We haven't seen a lot of these spots that, for me, it's just, I don't know. I like the opportunity that we're going to get to get different there, Captain. Again, I'm playing a lot of Siakam, so it's not like I'm doing anything all that interesting, Captain, and then I'm pretty flat with some of the other ones. But yeah, there's not anything that I can really say is way, way off in some meaningful way. I suppose Isaiah Jackson, not that Jalen Smith being out does anything, because Jalen Smith played a minute, but I guess Isaiah Jackson's somebody that I've routinely been taking some chances on. Okay. 9 minutes last time around was not exactly ideal either at flat 2K. At least I think it's pretty efficient all the way around.
I think we're on the exact same page here. There's just...
Yeah,
I'm trying to find something to talk about that's interesting. I'm over on Jaylen Brown. That's the extent of it. And even that is just barely. I don't have anybody where it's I 2x that guy, and I don't have anybody where it's just I have a tenth of the field. Neither of those things exist.
Here's what's interesting. If you're going to play one lineup, who do you play at captain?
I can tell you right now that my highest ranked lineup has Turner at captain.
Okay. I think that's an interesting talking point, if only because, there's not a lot of captain Turner that is popping for me at the moment. I had to boost him a little bit to get some. I think that's pretty interesting. Anything that isn't going to naturally be showing up, Obviously, we're simming everything against your pool, and it's a much better way than just going into an optimizer and clicking. But like, there's got to be a little bit of building towards a game script potentially. Like, I don't think 5-1 is something that shows up anywhere for me. Oh yeah, no, I actually do have a 5-1, but it's got 9 dupes out of my grouping. So yeah, that's got to probably go bye-bye. And it's Jason Tatum and the captain. What a time to be alive. But Nemhard, McConnell, they're pulling all the ownership and all the land they should be. Yeah, there's not a ton out here. I suppose talk about Sam Hauser. Like what is kind of the game plan for the Sam Hauser piece?
The shots fall. Like is really as simple
Yeah.
as it gets. Like he gets looks and for one like they go in and all of a sudden you look up and it's like, oh, Sam Hauser has 4 threes. It's like it's just that. By the way, looking at my top ranked lineups, 5 of the top 6 have unique captains. Nemhard duplicates once, and then the other 5 are all unique. Turner, Tatum, White, Holiday, Nemhard. 5 of those guys all in different lineups with them guys at the captain. 1 through 5 in my lineups. It's so insane. Like it's so scattered. It's so scattered.
Makes for a good showdown slate, though, because if you do
It
have a
does.
stand, people, if you have something that you're seeing that you love, that, oh, the field's not getting to whomever, or it's just kind of like making calculated stands. Like for me, it's one guy. Like I'm making a stand on Ben Shepherd in the
Yeah.
flex. I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about other than he's starting and playing 25 minutes. And, for whatever reason, just didn't play remotely well last time around. Probably gonna get burned by it. Probably something that he's just underowned relative to his chances of being successful in 25 minutes.
You know what's not underowned? Underdog. That was a terrible transition, but we're gonna go with it for right now.
We're just wiping off the rust, baby. Let's go.
Yeah,
You got
you
it.
gotta shake it all out for once. 50% first match deposit bonus up to $250. As long as you click the link in the description or the one that pops up in chat. Underdog covers everything. If you're not in a legal sports betting state, there's absolutely no reason you shouldn't sign up for Underdog immediately. Pick'em contests. So you can 20x taking pick'em plays on Underdog. Perfect. Daily fantasy contests. They have large field GPPs. You can play just straight up daily fantasy contests at Underdog. I mentioned free best ball rankings at stokastic.com right now. You can go ahead and grab those and use them at Underdog because they're the gold standard of best ball. Tons of NFL contests. They do NBA best ball. That's not really helpful right now, but keep your eyes peeled for it when it drops. And then they have playoff drafts too for NBA, NHL, PGA majors, stuff like that. Rough week in the PGA streets. That was tough to watch this weekend. Either way, though, has nothing to do with Underdog. They didn't do it. You should sign up for Underdog. 50% first match deposit bonus up to 250 bones. Yeah, my wife was just like, is this golfer dying news? Is that like big news? I was like, it's incredibly huge news.
Yeah, it's horrible. And obviously, if anybody wants to talk, my DMs, for better or for worse, are always open. So hit me up. We can chat. If you're having a tough time, more than happy to talk out anything. Just don't hit me up for plays at 5 a.m. my time. That's all that I ask. But
There you go.
really, really unbelievable news. I've got a buddy that knows him from the Corn Ferry Tour and said that, it was very exciting at the beginning of this year when he wasn't red-faced every single time he saw him. So he'd obviously cleaned up his life, had gotten everything together, and then, you just never know what somebody's going through. So be nice, be kind, especially you, YouTube chat. We love you.
Oh, tough.
Yep.
Tough to see. Sucks.
Yep.
What else should we touch on here to close this one out before we
Nuke
go
of the night. Nuke of the
exclusively
night.
to go? Let's do it because we're gonna be exclusively live on Playback in 4 minutes watching this game, and we'll have up to 40 VIP passes to hand out to you guys to join us. Who's the nuke of the night?
I think for me, it's
Mine's easy.
Flex play Ben Shepherd. I don't know many slates that you're going to run into where somebody who's played 25, 23, 26 minutes in 3 of the last 4, started last time out, didn't knock down threes. He's 0 for 9 his last 3 games. I know that it's one game to rule them all, one game to find them, but it's Ben Shepherd starting at a cheap price point, that nobody really wants to click on at the moment. I know why they don't. It was pretty tough to watch, but you want to try to get a little bit different. You want to get away from one of either McConnell or Nembhard building out one lineup, and you want to just say, hey, Ben Shepherd knocks down shots today, which he hasn't done for the previous three. It's going to look different in the box score, but it would appear that there's just Rick Carlisle isn't going to rip him off the floor in the mid-20s minutes, so I'll click on him. I'll live with the result. Nuke of the night, Ben Shepherd.
Miles Turner, I'm over on the captain spot. I'm over at utility. In the aggregate, there's no player that I have today more over the field than Miles Turner. Miles Turner has been my dude for years. I advocated aggressively for them to get rid of Domantas Sabonis or to trade Miles Turner to a place that I wanted him to be. He got to stay and play with Tyrese Halliburton. So I'm hoping he goes crazy today, especially given the fact that he's in 24% of my captain lineups. Chat, who wins today? Does Indy keep this series going? I assume you and I are both on Boston.
We are definitely on Boston.
How many people in chat are going to tell us that the Pacers win this one outright?
I would like to see that. I would like to see that. If you feel that way off of anything that we saw, Indy played the best possible game that they could under the circumstances in game 3 and couldn't close that one out. They've had 2 epic collapses. Thought this would have at least one where we would see Indy tip the scales. Game 1 should have been that, but such is life. My goodness, it should be all Boston tonight.
Yes, it should. Yes, it should. 1 minute and 45 seconds to go until you can get those lineups locked and until we go and watch these games on playback. I am excited for it. If we get a Dallas Mavericks dub tomorrow, then we have no basketball until Thursday of next week. Yuck. But at the same time, I definitely don't want, if one of these series are going to get extended, it better be Minnesota.
Yep.
Nobody's clamoring for game 5 Pacers Celtics.
Yeah, 14.5 point favorites incoming at home for Boston without Halliburton there. What was it, 9.5, 10? I would assume it's at least 12.5, 13 for a game 5, but we'll never know because it's not going to happen.
It certainly better not happen. That's for sure. I don't have the line saved in here any longer. How is that possible? I don't know. I guess it's been that long since I've played. That'll do it, you know?
There it is.
I was like, oh, I'm missing all these dates. It's like, well, yeah. The last date you did anything was Sunday, May 19th.
Yeah, slacking off.
Was
That's
that?
what it is. What?
Was that game? What game was last Sunday? What did we cover? It was the game 7s. It was the dueling game 7s. So
unreal.
The Wolves Nuggets game, I thought the Nuggets won. I shut it off while we were driving. And then I opened it back up again, and the Wolves were like up 6 or something like that with barely any time. I thought that game was just over and the Nuggets picked up game 7.
I would appreciate you not watching this time around either, please, and thank you.
Well, what I am going to do is go watch game 4 Pacers Celtics on playback right now. Thank you to Underdog for sponsoring. Jacob, thank you for producing. Eric, good to be back. We're going to playback.tv/stochastic right now. Come join us. We got basketball to watch, everybody. We'll talk to you later.